Welcome to Midwest Hunting Outdoors by Two Dumbasses. We're going to talk about this critter that everybody despises in the middle of summer. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Tim and Joel. Welcome to Midwest Hunting and Outdoors by Two Dumbasses,
A podcast about the outdoors, hunting,
and being a steward of the land.
Welcome to Midwest Hunting and Outdoors. Joel, what have you been up to?
Oh, it's summertime, right? Well, it's late summertime, early fall, so food plots actually. Been getting some fall food plot work done and trying to get some wood cut for winter.
Nice. You got
You?
some big, we've had such good prescription rain, so I've been really tailoring our food plots, and I think it's going to be great.
Well, we drove around. I like what I saw at your place. That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
More to come on that and maybe some future podcasts, right?
That's right. Hey, let's go ahead and we do a customer spotlight periodically, and that's where we want to highlight just some really great service or really poor service. And for those you've been following us, I'm big into cutty back, and I had a cutty back camera that it was 1 year old and it just stopped working. And under further investigation, when I pulled out the solar panel cord, it actually pulled the pin for it right off the bat. So cutty back has a 2-year warranty if you register within 30 days, which I had done. And so I called customer service, literally answered it within 30 seconds. Having a representative, explained my problem. They gave me an RMA, return authorization number. And so I sent it back within the 24 hours. And in 3 days, they sent me a brand new version of a camera. And what I ended up having is the Cutty Back now L series camera. So I have a brand new camera. So that's one of the good news. Here's the other good piece. I now have another 2-year warranty on this camera, which I'm super excited about.
Nice.
So Cutty Back, I'm very happy. So thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, you're all in on Cutty Back, and we do have a playlist here. And adding on to that playlist, it's not. I think there's going to be a lot of episodes more on Cutty Back on it. So that's good to hear because you're vested.
I'm vested.
You're vested.
So, hey, moving into our episode, we had an incident with your wife this past week, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, it's that time of year. So late July, August, going into September, you're outside. She spent a lot of time in the garden, and lo and behold, a couple days later, a lot of scratching going on and a lot of red marks and a lot of unpleasant stuff going around the house as far as how happy she was about whatever was causing this itching problem that she had. So that's what we've been dealing with in the Two Dumbass household.
And we know what that is.
We know I knew what that was. You knew what that was. It's a new experience for my wife, and unfortunately, a bad one.
Yeah, we're talking about Chiggers, not Jiggers. Chiggers.
Yeah, Chiggers. So Tim, what are Chiggers?
Well, so beyond being a pesky little thing that we have to deal with, they're a real little microscopic. They're basically a mite, and but they're in the arachnid or spider family, and they're horrible. They start to make themselves present, I believe, somewhere in the beginning of summer. And the hotter and the more humid it is, the worse chiggers are.
Yeah. So these little, you're not going to be able to see them on your skin. We'll include some pictures of them. They're only a face that a mom could love. I mean, they're kind of a nasty looking creature, but they get on you. They're small enough you can't feel them. They're small enough you can't see them. And unfortunately, you don't know you have them until it's too late.
Yeah, you'd actually need a microscope to see them. They're really small. So again, we talked about these tiny little mites. Joel, where do we find them?
Yeah, so they really like to hang out in grasses, weeds, gardens. The documentation tells you around ponds, but my experience is it doesn't necessarily have to be around water sources, but really any grass. In fact, your lawn. Lawns, if you're going to go to a outdoor theater movie, if you live in city or whatever, but if you're spending time in your yard outside having a campfire and you're in sandals, you're going to wake up the next day, you're probably going to have some bites. So that's their jungle. That's where they live.
Yeah, and these bites, I mean, I can't, I keep talking about them, but they're really welts. Yeah, I can't stand them. So let's say, so how do we prevent them? What's some of your strategies on how you prevent from getting chiggers?
Yeah, so again, first of all, once you've had them, if you've had them bad, then it'll stick with you. It should stick with you the rest of your life. If you're going into, the best prevention is if you're going into an area where these chiggers could be, wear long pants, boots, long sleeves, spray down with same kind of stuff you would spray down for mosquitoes and ticks and things like that. In fact, I would even encourage you in your pant legs, put a rubber band around them or duct tape your pant legs so they can't crawl up inside. And what they do is they'll get on your skin, and you'll usually find these irritation points around bands of clothing, sock bands, underwear bands,
wherever it's tight,
t-shirts. They'll just stop there, and that's when they start doing their business.
So you can imagine those are going to be some spots where you're not going to really want to be itching, whether they be jocks, your underwear, bands, whether it be in your groin area, bra straps, socks, not where you're going to want to be itching.
It's brutal.
It is.
I call them nature's little, demons, or even terrorists. Right? They're nature's terrorists, is what they are.
So they are. So a general rule, we did a little bit of research to find out, hey, when do they start to come out and be most prevalent? And usually that's 75 to 85 degree soil temperature. When you start to see that, that's when these guys are starting to get more active. They start to die off when the temperatures start to hit the 40s. Thankfully, that's right around hunting season for us. And they're most active in the afternoons. So we just went out and did a little stuff. So, but going back into the prevention, I'm a big fan of this Deep Woods Off. And use that Deep Woods Off, you be very judicious in its use. Spraying your shoes, your legs, anywhere to where, if you're wearing shorts or your pants all the way up through to your waistline, you want to give yourself a fighting chance. What I've found, you do that, you might get a bite or two, but for the most part, you're going to keep them at bay.
It's going to help. Permethrin.
Yeah.
And the difference between the two is the off/DEET, you're able to put that on your skin. The permethrin is just for clothing, so keep it away from your skin. But the positive with the permethrin is it's highly effective, not only on chiggers, but really any insects. And then it stays permeated in those clothes for up to 6 washings. So, which is kind of nice if you can organize yourself around, hey, these are my outdoor clothes, and use permethrin on them. You got a half a fighting chance there.
We'll do a future episode on that, on permethrin, and try to show you how to treat your clothes. Joel said, hey, it's exactly right. You keep it separate. But you don't want to spray this on your skin. That is not how it's intended, and it's poisonous.
Yeah. And Tim, I think one of the main prevention pieces is something as simple as, hey, I've been outside. I'm gonna jump in the shower and soap up and just take a nice clean shower and get rid of these clothes and get new clothes to put on just in case.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've actually adopted is as soon as I come out of the woods or when I've been out in the grass to some degree, what I'll do is I'll go in, shower, and I've actually incorporated Dawn dish soap into it. And the reason I do that is if I've gotten any poison ivy or anything else on me, it's a good time to, hey, I'm going to get all that off, right? So if I do those steps, again, I might get a bite or two, but for the most part, I don't believe I've ever gone a summer and not had a bite.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you're trying to just control the mass infection of them, right? So
there's a couple other that we found while we were, how to prevent. I'm going to just throw these out here. These little critters, they're so small. I mean, if you just lightly brush off, you're going to brush them off, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be effective with that. So water is that next step. I did read that powdered sulfur on your shoes can help keep them away. Rubber banding your legs like you suggested. And but you follow those steps, I think we're going to do pretty good.
Yeah. But
we should probably talk about, hey, how do you treat them? Those bites. I mean, those.
Yeah. So let's go back and clarify for a second. So, because I don't think we've touched on it. So these little mites, you're going to start itching and scratching, and what you're going to have is like little welts, like you said, Tim. And these little welts are from these insects, these mites coming, and they put a substance on your skin that dissolves your skin. So it's like a scene out of Super Troopers or Star Troopers or something. But it's some saliva. It gelatinizes your skin in that small area. Then they have a tongue that comes in and slurps it up, and that's their food, right? That's their food. Well, they go away. What's left is that little crater they created in how your body's reacting to that saliva, which is a welt and a really scratchy, inflamed area on your body. So that's why you're going to see them around your socks and your underwear and where your clothes kind of tightly fits around your arms and things like that, because they're going to crawl until they get to that point and they're going to have a little buffet.
Yep, that's right.
So once you start scratching them, man, it's never ending. You can never satisfy the itch, right?
Right.
That's what it is. Now there's some fallacies around there. I, for one, grew up with this fallacy is that I was told when I was little, up till about 3 or 4 years ago, I believe this, is that these little insects come and chiggers get under your skin, and the welts that you're seeing are these little chiggers that have burrowed under your skin, and you should try to suffocate them somehow with fingernail polish was the magical cure for us. But that's not the truth. That's far from the truth. Now, I still believe the fingernail polish, for whatever reason, makes it better, but you're not suffocating these things, and because they're not there anymore.
They're not there.
They're gone. They've done their business. They're gone. They're dead, and they've moved on. So I don't know where we're going with that, Tim, but
it's just basically how we treat them. So that's probably one of the biggest myths.
It
right?
is.
So I also grew up that same way, but there are quite a few treatments out there. There's a ton of them that you can buy right off the shelves.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of home remedies out there. So I'm going to share a few of them. We'll just tag team on this.
Yep.
So one was this plantain or plantain salve. And what I saw is these people were super high on it. And they recommend, whether it be for any bug bites, poison ivy, etc., plantain salve. Toothpaste. They talked about how toothpaste can actually reduce the itch. And then you and I were talking right before the show, mixing salt with Vicks. That Vicks salve. Mixing those together, both dries it out and cools. And they said, hey, you want to move that and rub that into those spots as long as you can. And they are going to flat out tell you, hey, it's going to burn. And it's going to be like fire taking on fire. And you want to do that as long as you can. So, give that a try. You have a couple you want to bring up?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that I have a neighbor that believes in bleach water. So diluted bleach with water, and I think it's very similar to the salt. The salt cure is it, and I've done the salt cure before, and it does hurt. So, but I'm at a point in my life where if you've had enough of these chiggers, I'll put up with any pain to get rid of the itch, right? So I think it does. I think the salt and the bleach water, I think, could help. I just think it puts an undue strain on your body from a chemical standpoint. But I think the intent of my thought is to heal these things. You want to dry them up as quick as you possibly can. So the best thing that I've found so far is start popping Benadryl, pills or liquids. That's going to dry them up, and then calamine lotion. Calamine lotion, like every 10, 15, 20, as much as you need, put as much calamine lotion as you can on them. And when you start feeling your skin kind of shrinking, getting tight, then you know it's getting better. It's getting better. But, I mentioned earlier the fingernail polish was one cure. I still believe it helped for whatever reason, but it's not solving what it think it's solving.
You know what I read on it it's a myth, but it may put enough of a coating on there to make it not itch.
Because the air can't get to it.
Yeah.
That's my hypothesis also. I've had some really good luck, Tim, with, you mentioned my wife's experiences. She purchased some new product that I didn't know, and it's called Chiggers. We'll include some pictures of some of these products, but it worked very well. I think it's more of a pain relief, an itch relief, than a cure or a drying it out. But I think in combination with the calamine lotion and the Benadryl could be a good combination. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't tried that. So there are a couple other home remedies. Again, a common salt and a baking powder paste. Where you rub that in, similar to that Vicks. Oatmeal bath with also helps reduce the itch. Epsom salts. I got just a couple more here. Raw honey. So with your wife,
I'd like to try that. Yeah.
Being the bee queen.
Yeah. Surprised that didn't come up in the. Yeah, it's worth trying.
And I got two more. Lavender oil. They said lavender oil is very effective in reducing inflammation as well as the itch. And then lastly, jewel weed. And the reason I bring that up is I just found a patch of this jewel weed on our property. And it's only in one little spot that I've found so far. And you can take that and make a salve out of it, whether it be for poison ivy or any type of bug bite. And they say it's very effective. But there's a whole host of over-the-counter items.
Hydrocodone is a big one. Yeah. Any itch relief, right?
Yep.
Just makes my skin.
So there's ways to kill them, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on that. Any insecticide, diatomaceous earth is another compound that you can use. The only thing I really have about going out and trying to kill them is you're gonna kill a lot of good things as well. It's not surgical, so I'm always very hesitant to try to do that. If I can be surgical, I'll certainly go after that. But
yeah, I think the best thing you can do to manage them is cut your grass as short as you can, and again, it's up to you to stay out of the tall grass as best you can.
Or go back into those prevention modes.
Yeah, exactly. Wear the appropriate clothing.
Yeah. So, with that, is there anything else that we may have missed, Joel?
How long will it last? So, if you do get these bites, our documentation says 24 to 48 hours. I would like to believe even if you treat them, my experience is it's more like 3 to 5 days.
Yeah, I'd mind more 5 days.
Before you get
relief
and feeling kind of natural or normal again. And that's with treatment. Without treatment, I don't know. Now, if you get these bad enough, I have heard of people that, you can go to the doctor and get a steroid injection, and it will help immensely. But I got to believe that a doctor's not going to do that unless it's pretty bad. But I mean, if it's bad enough, I personally would have no problem doing that because you're going to be in a world of pain for a week or two.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Other than that, Tim, I think you did a great job of walking us through this.
All right.
So,
Well then, until next time, be safe, have fun,
and get outdoors. Thanks for listening or watching our show. We have some exciting topics and guests coming up.
We ask that you subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
We look forward to hearing your suggestions for topics,
Questions and comments. This is Two Dumbasses signing off. Until next time,
be safe,
have fun, and get outdoors.